I was disappointed to hear that Scotland's First Minister has been having friendly chats with President-elect Trump, with no discussion of his policy agenda. Donald Trump's climate-destroying, racist and conspiracy theory-based politics are endangering people and planet and are the exact opposite of the future that we want for Scotland. Here in Scotland, we proudly welcome refugees and immigrants as new Scots. We value democracy, our environment, and the rule of law. First Minister, how can it be in Scotland's interests to court the favours of someone like Donald Trump?
First Minister.
Presiding Officer, I am responsible for the Government's policy programme and its agenda, and that agenda speaks for itself, and I answer questions here on that in a democratic parliament where I believe fundamentally in the rule of law. So Lorna Slater and I are in absolute agreement about the importance of democratic processes and the rule of law, and I believe that it's fundamentally part of my being, the acceptance of that point. But there will, of course, I recognise, be political differences from one government to another. But I also have a duty to promote and to protect the interests of Scotland. And President Trump and I had an introductory call at his request on Tuesday evening, and he spoke positively about Scotland, and I expressed the views of and the interests of the Scottish Government in relation to areas of cooperation with the United States, particularly about relevant and important issues on whisky trade, which matters to the Scottish economy. So I've got a duty to represent Scotland and to make sure that is done on our terms, representing our policy agenda, and I assure Lorna Slater in Parliament that that will always be the approach that I take.
Lorna Slater.
There are risks to a friendly approach. Already we see the Trumpification of Scottish politics. All week, the Tories have been working to demonise people seeking asylum, to pit one group of vulnerable people against another. It is shameful. At the same time, we're seeing the rights of refugees and of LGBTQ+ folks coming under attack from Westminster policies. Will the First Minister stand up to Donald Trump, stand up for human rights, equality and democracy? And will he make clear that we are proud of compassionate and humane policies like the extension of free bus travel to people seeking asylum?
First Minister.
I believe I represent those values every day in all of my actions as the First Minister of Scotland. And I agree with Lorna Slater that this week marked a worrying departure a political figure for whom I could not have more respect, who encouraged us all in this Parliament, in the first words put on the official report of this Parliament, to, regardless of where we'd come from, to live compatibly and happily together with tolerance in Scotland. And I said that for 25 years that view had been upheld and expressed by every single Member of Parliament without exception. Yeah. I'm afraid this week represented a turning point in that respect, and I profoundly regret that. What was said on Wednesday by some members of the Conservative Party departs from that approach, and I deeply regret that. On Tuesday evening, under the leadership of the presiding officer, there were public service awards in this Parliament, and one of the awards was given to the Linda Norgrove Foundation, which is a wonderful organisation who succeeded in bringing 19 female medical students from Afghanistan to Scotland, enabled by wonderful cooperation between the United Kingdom Government and the Scottish Government. And I've met those 19 women. The Education Secretary has done so, so has Kirsty McNeill, the Scotland Office Minister. And we welcome all of that. That's what we should be doing as a mature, tolerant country. We should be recognising that people who seek asylum in our country are people who are in desperation, and we shouldn't be demonising them. We should be embracing them. We should be living up to our values, the values that founded this Parliament, and we should turn our back on the populist rubbish that has consumed the Conservative Party this week.